I still think that Caleb Williams is still trying to get out of that Hollywood-esque personality that he has going on and just buy into being an NFL player.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast NFC North Division Preview. As we get ready for the 2025-2026 season, I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and with us today to talk NFC North, Captain for Life, Will Cotton. Will, what's going on, sir? Very happy to have you here to talk about the NFC North. And also with us, our teacher of the month every month and our researcher extraordinaire, Mike Connors. Mike, very excited to talk about the NFL North. So we're going to jump right into it. Segment 1, we're going to give you an overview of the teams. Segment 2, we're going to give you stories that you should follow. And in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. But let us remind you that the Odd Coaches Podcast, entering its 4th year of covering the NFL, likes to have a preview for the casual fan so you can get an idea of what to look for during the season. And as you follow us, you'll have an idea of what we think. So let's jump into it. Chicago Bears, over under 8.5. Quite frankly, they underperformed last year. They told us Caleb Williams was walking into the greatest situation of a number 1 quarterback ever. Well, someone forgot to tell Caleb and the coaching staff because they got a new coaching staff coming in, and it's all gutted. So, Will, any thoughts about the Chicago Bears?
Man, they seem excited to have Ben Johnson here. You know, let's not believe that Caleb Williams doesn't have the talent. That guy has real talent. He's really good. I think they're a year away from competing for the division. I don't think they're going to get it this year. I think they have some young offensive linemen starters. I think they have to figure things out. I still think that Caleb Williams is still trying to get out of that Hollywood-esque personality that he has going on and just buy into being an NFL player. But I think they're a year away. I mean, they have all the situations that they have. They have a running back. They have DJ Moore. Odunze is supposed to make a breakout year this year. I think they have Ben Johnson, obviously, be the OC who's going to make things happen with the offensive quarterback. Caleb Williams is great to slang the rock. I still think this the Lions division to win, but I think the Bears are the next 2, 3 years are going to be the ones that are going to be looking at the division winners or division leader, because they just have the talent and they have the situation set up. I don't think it's this year, but next year. But I think it's on the way. So Bear fans would be very excited.
Okay, Connors, Bears. What are your thoughts on the Chicago Bears this year?
Yeah, when Caleb Williams came in, they said he was walking into the perfect situation. If they have to tell you he's walking into a perfect situation, it's not the perfect situation. So let's look at some of the moves they made this offseason. Ben Johnson as the new head coach, offensive coordinator for Detroit. He could have taken any job in the NFL that he wanted, whether there was a coach that was fired or still a coach there. That's how much people wanted to bring in Ben Johnson. So that will be very interesting to see how such a good offensive mind works with Caleb Williams. The Bears spent a ton of resources rebuilding their offensive line to help Williams out. They signed 3 huge free agent linemen, Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and Drew Delman, via free agency. Their first pick they used at the tight end, Colston Loveland out of Michigan, who is a seam stretching tight end. He's a perfect fit for Ben Johnson's offense. They also got the receiver Luther Burden out of Missouri. They drafted a huge offensive tackle in the 2nd round, Tripolo out of Boston College. So they're doing everything they can to set up this offense to make Caleb Williams successful. In the second half of the draft, they addressed a lot of defensive needs. But let's be honest, the Bears last year had a 10-game losing streak. That's a hard mental hurdle for a young quarterback to overcome. Now, hopefully bringing in Ben Johnson, it can bring in a fresh persona to the offensive room. But that's a sting. I mean, if anyone who's been an athlete, you lose 1, you're mad. You lose 2, you lose 3, you lose 4. All of a sudden, your confidence is going, gone. So then, put that at 10 games, and then, the coaching staff all gets fired. So hopefully the mental stigma of last season does not affect Williams too much, because as Will said, I think he has the potential to be an excellent quarterback. He has the tools, he has the skills, he has the size, he has the brain power, I think. So bringing someone like Ben Johnson in, I think that the sky's the limit for the Bears. I don't know if it'll all happen this year. There might be some growing pains. Johnson's never been a head coach in the NFL before, so we'll see what happens. But I think things are looking bright for the Chicago Bears moving forward.
All right, Mike, I'm going to stay with you. Detroit Lions, over under 10.5. They lost their OC and they lost their DC and they lost their linemen. They lost their last year. They staggered to the end. What are you thinking about the Detroit Lions this year?
Well, we all know that last year I talked up the Detroit Lions. I think Campbell's a great coach, and let's see if he is a great coach. Losing both coordinators, see how the team responds to this. See how they rally around their coach. They're bringing Jared Goff back to be the quarterback. He's still got an offensive line there. They're restricted to have a strong season. Their draft was good. Hutchinson is coming back from a broken leg, which is not any injury can be devastating, but we're not talking about a torn up knee, a torn pectoral muscle. This was a bone that broke. Bones grow back stronger. It's not like we have to worry about a cadaver ligament being put in. He didn't blow his shoulder out where we're worried about that joint and getting a good push and punch when he is making his pass rush. So everything looks like he will be coming back. So I'm interested to see how they do. They have a top tier defense, particularly with the turn of Hutchinson. So we'll see. I think that let me put this again. After their non-competitive loss in the playoffs that knocked them out, I think they're going to come back with a chip on their shoulder. I think Campbell's, who is a great motivator, is going to be even more motivated to push them to the Super Bowl this year. And the NFC is not the stronger of the two divisions, I think. So I think they have the ability to get there. We'll just have to see if they drink the Kool-Aid or not.
All right, Will, we like this guy. We don't hide that we like Detroit because the players like each other. They like the coach. But that was quite an ass whoop. What are you thinking about Detroit this year, sir?
They like the guy, but they like winning more. So it doesn't matter if he doesn't win. They don't care if they like him. It doesn't matter. So I think that's matters. They have a favorable schedule. I mean, their schedule is skated around. They have some easy wins. They can get some wins. They have some tough wins, get them ready for the playoffs. It's hard for me to believe that they're going to win 12 or 11 wins again after with no OC and the new DC. It's almost like, coach, it's almost like, if we get rid of Amatucci, you can bring in a new person for study hall. Will they be effective? I don't know. We'll see what happens. If guys are focused. So we'll see. We'll see. I think the Lions are the best thing, that they're the best team, in my opinion. They're the best team in the division. There's no team that really is paid more, that has more all pros and pro bowlers on the team than Detroit. It's their division to win, but it's not a runaway. They're not just going to run away and say, "Oh, we're just going to whoop everybody and win 14, 15 games, and everybody's just going to below us." What I'm saying? Even last year, I mean, shoot, look at Green Bay and look at Minnesota. I mean, we didn't believe them to even show up, and they were there. We'll talk about Minnesota later, but trust me, Detroit need to focus on themselves, end up back in the Super Bowl with the NFC East. So I wouldn't say weak, but there's not the solid winner or a solid team that's going to take over. The Lions should make that run. Why not? They got everybody paid in place. Do it.
All right. Connors, Green Bay, over-unders, 9.5. They had a good season last year, and they still were third in the ridiculously talented NFC North. What do you think about the Packers this year?
I think that's a good number for them. I really do. I see them as a 8 to 10 win team. I mean, Jordan Love is entering his second year, and he's not your normal second year quarterback. He sat behind the alleged greatest quarterback in history. Just ask him, he'd tell you, and Aaron Rodgers. So he had a good person to learn from. Matt LaFleur is supposedly a great groomer of quarterbacks. He's going into his 7th year as the head coach. So that's looking promising. Josh Jacobson is the lead back, or Jacob, excuse me, is the lead back. So we have experience there. The offensive line, as always, is one of the strengths in Green Bay. It seems no matter what they do, they have a good offensive line. I mean, those guys come out, they smell like stale beer and bacon. It's great. So I think that the offense is going to be good. The defense is a little on the young side, but I think that that's going to be strong for them. Being young isn't a bad thing. So I think that the Packers are going to be right there. If anyone stumbles, whether it be the Lions, who I think will win this division, if they stumble at all, the Packers are going to be right on their heels.
All right, Will, again, Jordan Love is going into his third year as a full-time starter. NFC North was crazy good last year. What are you thinking about the Packers?
Man, the way they fell down towards the end of the season was kind of disappointing for them. They had Josh Jacobs who was still in the game. They couldn't get a receiver. They were getting out physical, which is not something that you want to see. But you want to say that may be a staple of the coach's, his offensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator. You're just not physical enough to get through the playoffs, and that's what it is. This will be what the third iteration of Love and Stanovich or whatever. I forgot his coach's name, but this will be the third iteration that they'll be going on route now, and people expect some real progress or real, things going on, and it's hard for me to believe if this team. I don't see them winning 10 games. I don't see this team winning 10 games. I mean, you snuck up on people last year because people really unaware of, Jordan Love and Jordan Reed and a lot of the guys, not Jordan Reed, yeah, not Jordan Reed, but there was another Reed of a tight end player who played with them as well. I forgot his name. But they had a lot of young talent and people didn't really know about them. So they took advantage of that. Josh Jacobs had an amazing season. I think he ran over at least like over 1,300 yards rushing with over I want to say definitely over 11 touchdowns. Correct me if I'm wrong. Can you replicate that? Can you do that again? And with people being saying, "Oh, I know they coming. I know they coming this time." That's the difference, coach. Remember in Springbrook, we used to show up and people knew what it was, and they would still get whooped by 30. And it is what it is. You just have to accept it. But when people know you coming, it's a different, you know what I'm saying? People put marks on your calendar. People circle on the schedule. You know what I'm saying? I remember y'all whooped us. Oh yeah, it ain't happening this year. So we'll see what happens. I got them getting 9 wins. I'd be surprised if they get 10 wins or more because I just think that the team is not built on the inside. It's built on the outside in rather than inside out.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stay with you. Minnesota, over-under is 8.5. They tell me Kevin O'Connell is one of the finest coaches in the league. They're switching quarterbacks this year. What are you thinking about the Vikings?
I'm taking another under. Well, let me tell you, I'll take an over just because they're 8.5. So I'll give them 9 wins. I still think the Flores defense is still amazing. I think the head, I think the McCarthy, not McCarthy, but the actual head coach McConnell, they gets a lot of credit. But remember, Flores had a great defense last year. A lot of people didn't even mention to him. He should have been a head coach candidate, but with all the issues that he was going on. Probably understand why not. But he should have been at least on somebody's candidate and somebody's interview. So we'll see. It lands on JJ McCarthy. If JJ McCarthy can play decent enough to not lose games, they'll get the 9 that they want. If he throws interceptions, if he's holding the ball on and getting interceptions, if he's getting sacked, if he's not, hey, if you're not throwing the ball to Justin Jefferson, you're not gonna get 9 wins. You're just not. And that's at the end of the day. Hopefully, right now, McCarthy, not McCarthy, but at least the head coach is all believing like, hey, he's the quarterback whisperer. Kirk Cousins came up, had an amazing season. Darnold got $100 million based on his play. If this dude McConnell is really a quarterback whisperer, McCarthy you need to be listening. 2 ears, mouth closed, you'll be fine. But again, it rides on JJ McCarthy. And from what I've seen, the last time I seen him, no disrespect, I'm not a believer.
Okay. Connors, Minnesota. What are you thinking about this year?
If you go from 14 wins to an over under of 8.5, that's telling you what Vegas believes in this quarterback. JJ McCarthy was a first round pick in 2024. No one won a national championship by handing off the ball better at Michigan than he did. I mean, he is not a great thrower of the ball. There was a lot of talk of the Giants trying to go after him when he was in the draft. And I broke out the rosary beads. I went to church every day praying that the Giants didn't take him because I just don't see it. I don't see the winner that everyone else sees, the driver of the ball. I just don't see it. He handed the ball off. He threw 4-yard outs. He threw a lot of down. I mean, I just don't understand what people see in this guy. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, that's why I'm a teacher, not a coach in the NFL. But I just don't understand with McCarthy. I mean, why would you let Sam Darnold go after 14 wins or not try to offer him everything to keep him there and how much that team loved him? I mean, I just don't see it at all. O'Connell, they're saying, is a great quarterback whisperer, but how many coaches do we say, oh, he's allegedly a great quarterback whisperer, and nothing happens with these quarterbacks? And then they get fired, and then they become the offensive coordinator somewhere, and then they are one of the 17 people who interviews for these new jobs. So the Vikings are going to take a step back, and that's not a huge detriment. It's hard to take a step forward from 14 wins. Let's be honest. And, Sam, as a New York area person, again, this kills me. It's going to be hard to fill Sam Darnold's shoes in that purple helmet. But I just don't see what J.J. McCarthy can do to be the man this year. I think it's going to be too much for him. I don't think he has the skill set. But then again, O'Connell is supposedly a great offensive coach, and he has belief in him. So we'll see what happens. But I don't see them getting more than the 8 wins, or I don't see them going the over of 8.5. Let's just put it there.
Agreed.
All right. So, fans, in segment 2, we're going to give you questions for each team, and our panel is going to help you by answering them. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here, and for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond, and that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2, Stories to Watch. All right, Will, Chicago. Will Caleb play better? What do you think, sir? That's the question of the year.
He better. He better. I mean, he had a great season last year, but he could have been better. Towards the end of the year, it was pretty poor. They kind of flamed out, things like that. I mean, when you put a biography out about, didn't want to be drafted to the Bears, I didn't want to go here, I cried, didn't want to go here, da 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 da. You better show out and show some numbers. The kid has the talent, but at the end of the day, coach, you already know when it comes to be professional sports, it's would you like to be a professional athlete, or would you like to be a celebrity? We're still trying to figure that out about Caleb Williams. If he likes being a celebrity, look, man, you ain't gonna be here long. But if you want to be an actual player and you want to be a professional athlete, go out there, do things that you got to do, And to be honest with you, since all that stuff, since the draft, you haven't heard nothing about Caleb Williams. He's been in OTA, he's been working, he's been doing what he's got to do. I think he will play better. I think he will remove their distractions. I think he will remove the whole, first overall pick shadow over him. He'll be able to play football and do his thing, and do his thing. I think he'd be doing his thing. So I think he will play better. Yes.
Okay. Mike, the number one pick got outplayed by the number two pick. Can't hide that. But his numbers weren't that bad. So will Caleb play better? What do you think?
Yes, Caleb will play better. He has a better coach who wanted to be there, and he handpicked this kid by saying, I want to come to the Bears and be your coach. They put their first two draft picks on offensive weapons for him and a great tight end and a good receiver. They bolstered their offensive line with three big free agent picks. This kid's going to have all the tools that he needs to be successful. We saw him in college. There's a reason he was the number one pick. He played at USC. Obviously, the kid can play football. But we also have to remember when they say these things that these are young men. They're 22, 23, unless you're that kid who played for Kansas State and you're 28 coming out after 9 years of football. But most of these young men are just that. They're young men. They say stupid things. That's to be expected. We were all in our early 20s and said stupid things at one point. But this kid has talent. He has the means around him now, and I think that he is going to thrive under Ben Johnson's system.
All right. Connors, I'm going to stay with you. Detroit. That was an ass whooping on national television. Can you come back from that?
Yes. Campbell is a leader of men. I mean, he's a punchy in the face guy. They still talk about in his interview how he was demonstrating blocking on chairs in the conference room. This is a guy that kids want to be around. They want to play for him. He's going to take this. He's going to learn. He's going to use this as a motivational tool. He's not going to candy coat it. He's not going to say, oh, we had a bad day. He's going to take responsibility, say, I didn't prepare you, and that's not going to happen again. So, yes, they can recover from this. Now, the next step for them would be going on to the Super Bowl, so we'll see if that happens. But I definitely think that they will rebound from this and be a better team because of it.
All right. Will Cotton, every game you lost in high school, the other team stormed the court. That's a true statement. Can Detroit, after that horrific tail kicking, come back, in your opinion?
I don't know. I don't know. That's a long road. Long road, difficult road. People got to buy in. The same people that got to buy in. Dave Montgomery, a little older, who's got to buy in, being on the at the second banjo kind of guy. Can you get guys to buy into that? If Dan Campbell is the guy that's saying, "Hey, everybody's this was a hiccup," then good, we're here. But if you have guys who are believing, and who sees, I mean, let's say they go 0-2, or let's say they go 1-4. Is Dan Campbell the guy to pull them out of that pit? I hope. I think he is. I don't know if it is. Again, NFC North is can anybody can win. So, but can they recover from the butt whipping? It'll take a solid 5-0, 4-1 couple weeks for them to really believe who they are. If they go into and they're 2-3, if they're 1-4, even if they go like 0-2 or 0-3, this team will start panicking, and I think they'll start worrying and see what's going to happen. So I think they can recover, but it depends on the first 5 weeks, in my opinion.
All right. Will, I'm going to stay with you, Green Bay. One of my favorite interviews from the American Dream, Dusty Rose, baby, was he was talking about Ric Flair, and he said, Ric Flair, let's stop BSing the people in this country. Let's stop talking about it, and let's do something. Green Bay, you keep telling me about how good Jordan Love is. You keep telling me about Titletown and the Lambeau Leap and this, that, and the other. And every year, I don't see nothing but L's at the end of the season. So, will Green Bay stop BSing the people in this country, baby?
No way. No way. I think this team is soft. I think the team is soft. I think this team is not the team that's really built for the NFC North, which is supposed to be running the ball. It's supposed to be defense. Right now, their biggest thing right now is offense, wide receivers, quarterback, flying up the field. And that doesn't win. That's not going to get wins in Lambeau if you're outdoors in December. Nobody is going to be launching 60-yard passes and things like that. So no, I don't believe in them. I'm sorry. I don't think they're the real image of Green Bay. I think they're a sexy image that Green Bay is holding on to and say, hey, we got 12 wins yesterday. We got 12 wins last year. Great. That's awesome. I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think that they need to go back to their roots. I know Josh Jacobs is a year older, so he's not going to be the greatest quarterback that he's going to be than he was last year. If he is, man, amazing. Welcome back for Green Bay. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're going to have to depend on Jordan Love a lot more often. I think they're going to have to depend on Jordan Reed. I keep saying Jordan Reed. I know it's Jaden Reed. Jaden Reed, the tight end. That guy's an amazing. They have to depend on him. And to be honest with you, they don't have a number one receiver. They really don't have like a number one guy that they can just throw him the ball and say, hey, if we're going down the field, here we're going to throw the ball so and so, and he's going to make a play, or he's going to be open, or he's going to run a comeback, he's going to catch the ball. They don't have that. So for me to believe I don't really believe in this team because they don't have the pieces that they need as an offensive side to be the team that people can really believe in.
All right. Mike Connors, Jordan Love. They keep telling me how good this kid is. They're like, you got to believe in him. But again, as Dustin said, let's stop BSing the people in this country. Is Green Bay a bunch of BSing the people in the country?
To stick with the wrestling theme there, Ric Flair's answer to that question would have been, Dr. Adams, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. Woo! Green Bay ain't beating Detroit. They're not going to beat the man. No.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm going to stay with you to close out. Mike, can that boy play? Can JJ play?
No. He hands off the
play.
ball great. I can hand off the ball great. He can throw a good 4-yard out. He can check it down to the running back coming out. He's not stretching the field. No, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I have no faith in him, which means he's going to go out, get Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, MVP, all those awards. But no, I don't see it. I don't think he is going to be a stitch on what Sam Darnold was last year. And being in the New York area, I'm waiting for the lightning to come in and strike me for even saying that. But I just don't see it.
All right. Will Cotton, can that boy play?
No, he can't play ball.
JJ can't play.
I ain't with it. I ain't with it. I mean, but you double down and you get rid of a guy that wins 14 games.
And was loved by the locker room.
Yeah, who was loved. If he doesn't get 10 wins minimum, he's a bust.
Okay.
It ain't gonna get better. It ain't gonna get better for him. Trust me, it ain't gonna get better.
All right. So, fans, when we get back in segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. We'll be right back on the Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggles student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student-athlete success. I believe every student-athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student-athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Ad Coaches Podcast. In segment 3, we will talk about things strictly for entertainment purposes only. Mike Connors, who are the division champions for the NFC North?
The Detroit Lions.
Okay. Will Cotton, predicted division champions for the NFC North.
For the last 3 years, Coach, Detroit Lions and Dan Campbell.
All right. Will, who's the sleeper pick this year for the NFC North?
Man, last year we said Green Bay and we got two other teams, but give me I'll just stick just Green Bay this year. Just Green Bay. I think the only team that's going to surprise us if a sleep pick. Give me Green Bay.
All right, Connors, who's the sleeper pick, sir?
I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. I have great faith in Ben Johnson. I think he's going to come out firing, and I think that the Bears could be a playoff team.
All right. Speaking of playoff teams, Mike, who are the playoff teams in the NFC North?
Detroit and the Bears.
Detroit and the Bears. Will Cotton, playoff teams in the NFC North.
I like Detroit. I like Green Bay. And I hope Mike Connors is right. And it's a three-peat. Chicago gets in there somehow. I like it every
All
time.
right. Will, do we have a big game participant from the NFC North?
Just Detroit. That's it for real, for real. That's it.
Mike Connors, do we have a big game participant from the NFC North?
Yes, I think Detroit is going to overcome that hurdle this year and make it to the big game.
All right. So, Mike, final thoughts. NFC North, floor is yours.
This is a really good division. I like the moves that all the teams made. There, we talked about with salary cap. These teams all had a ton of money. They have a lot of money moving forward. They all did positive things. They all addressed specific needs in the draft of what they needed. So this is going to be an exciting division. I think this is going to be one of the best top to bottom ones that there are out there. And I just hope Detroit can come back from that butt whooping they got and show the grit that city of Detroit likes to show.
All right, Codman, final thoughts. NFC North.
I hope with Dan Campbell gets certified. We've been praising for the man the last 3 years, so I hope he gets certified to the Super Bowl. You don't got to win it in the NFL. You just got to make it, and you good. You out here, you certified. So yeah, I'm hoping Dan Campbell get it. Everybody else, I don't really care about nobody else.
All right. So thank you to our Cavalcade Stars. So on behalf of our Cavalcade Stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and/or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. Also seen on the Cascade Sports Network, and we will see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care.
Peace.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches Podcast.